Hi class! Welcome to our second flipped classroom video. I hope all of you enjoyed our first video. I enjoyed listening to your insightful answers in class. Okay, so before we begin with this lesson, let's review what we learned in our last video. We learned a little bit about the author, Nathaniel Hawthorne, and the Puritan way of living. We also learned about Puritan women and the Salem witch trials. I hope all of you have done the assigned readings for this week. These readings were to read chapters 1 and 2 of the Scarlet Letter. If you haven't, you will have a hard time answering my questions within this video. So please read them before continuing on with this video lesson. Alright, now let's get down to business. Today, we will be discussing the major themes we see in chapters 1 and 2. The official definition of theme is the fundamental and often universal ideas explored in a literary work. For example, the major theme in the Hunger Games, which most of you have already read, would be inequality between the rich and the poor. In the Hunger Games, we can also see themes such as suffering or death for entertainment and fighting for your right to live. Even though the definition on this slide says that themes are in literary works, we can see them anywhere else. They are in movies, TV shows, paintings, and clothes. Yes, I did say clothes. All of the high-end designers use themes when they make their collections. Okay, so now I want you to think about your favorite TV show or movie. What is the major theme within it? For example, my favorite TV show is One Tree Hill. The major theme within this show is father and son relationships. Okay, now that you understand what themes are, we will now discuss the themes within the first and second chapter of the Scarlet Letter. The themes are as follows: symbolism, stereotyping, sin, and identity. Let's first start with symbolism. Symbolism is when an object, item, word, or symbol has a deeper meaning, most often symbolizing something else. Some examples of this would be a rose or heart, meaning love, sunshine, meaning hope or being happy, and a dove or lily, meaning purity. However, for our purpose, we want to focus on the symbol A, which is shown in the Scarlet Letter. As we know from chapter 2, the Scarlet Letter means adulterer. Adultery is having sexual relations between a married person and a person who is not his or her wife. So now I pose this question to you. From what you have read in the chapters, what else do you think the infamous red A would mean in this novel? I want you to pause the video and write down your answers. Your answer could be anything, but I would like you to back up your answer from details in the text. Be ready to discuss your answers tomorrow in class. Welcome back, students. The next theme is stereotyping. This is not a major theme, but I think it is something worth talking about while we read the Scarlet Letter. The true definition of stereotype is prejudging someone without knowing anything about them. It also means basing who they are by the way they look or what groups they hang out with. Now, on a side note, did you know that you make a first impression on someone within the first 3 seconds of meeting them? That's so crazy, right? As humans, we all have stereotypes. I am stereotyped as being dumb because I have blonde hair. The following are examples of common stereotypes. Cheerleaders are stereotyped as being dumb and superficial. Blondes are stereotyped as being slow and stupid. Sorority girls are stereotyped as being party animals, easy and mean. Overweight people are stereotyped as being lazy. Women are stereotyped as being bad drivers. and African Americans are stereotyped as only being able to play basketball and football. But are those true? Not necessarily. Yes, most of the NBA is dominated by African Americans, but does that mean all African Americans are good at playing basketball? No. Now I want you to think about your stereotypes. Are they true? Why might people perceive you this way? Do you act a certain way because of your stereotype? I want you to think about these answers. You don't have to write them down. I just want you to analyze the way you act because of a stereotype. Stereotypes are also known as labeling someone. Now I want you to pause the video. I first want you to look at the picture of the woman. Why is she being stereotyped or labeled as a terrorist? Is it because she is a Muslim? Look at what she has around her face. Do you think she's an American citizen? Now look at the picture of the man. Look at all of the labels he has posted on his face. Do you think he's a terrorist? Why do you think that? Do you think we stereotype all Muslims as terrorists because of 9/11 and our history? I want you to analyze these two pictures and be ready to discuss your answers tomorrow in class. Welcome back, students. Now look at this picture for 3 seconds. From this picture, and only this picture, how would you stereotype Hester Prynne? Look at all of the details within the picture and give your reasons why. Alright, the next theme seen in chapters 1 and 2 is sin. Sin is defined as a transgression of a religious or moral law, especially when deliberate. It is also defined as something regarded as being shameful, deplorable, or utterly wrong. This is obviously shown through Hester Prynne in the Scarlet Letter. She committed sin when she became pregnant with a man's child who was not her husband. In the Puritan religion, this act is sinful and utterly wrong, which is why Hester wears the scarlet A on her chest. It is there to show the town that she has committed a sin and should be ashamed of herself. The last theme we see in chapters 1 and 2 in the Scarlet Letter is identity. Identity is defined as the fact of being who or what a person or thing is. Humans identify themselves as many different things. Some people identify themselves as African Americans or white. They can identify as a jock or a nerd, or as being rich or being poor. What do you identify yourself as? Personally, I identify myself as a white woman in her 20s who is a teacher. Now I want you to pause the video and examine how Hester Prynne identifies herself. Does she identify herself as an adulterer because she has to wear the scarlet A on her chest? Does she identify herself as a mother? Or does she identify herself as a Puritan? Please back up your answers with contextual evidence. Welcome back, students. I can't wait to hear how you think how Hester Prynne identifies herself. Okay, students, we are almost done with this lesson. Yay! To conclude, I want to review the themes seen in chapters 1 and 2. These themes are symbolism, stereotyping, sin, and identity. I hope you all learned a lot of information from this lesson. If you have questions about what we have just learned, please write them down and I will answer them tomorrow in class. See you all tomorrow.